Hello again, football fans, and welcome back to another season of Miners Live. Week 1 has officially started. More importantly, season 10 is here. The regular season has started. We are officially at the decade mark. I'm old enough to remember. Actually, no, I'm not, because it's only year 5 for me in the league. But 10 seasons into the league. Special major shout out to everyone that has been here from the beginning. Obviously, special shout out to Smitty for brainstorming this whole entire idea that keeps us up at night when our team loses, and sometimes keeps us up at night when our team wins. So here we are. It is season 10, and we're here. So I will be honest with you guys. I completely dropped the ball a little bit. I thought that the game was going live at 9 o'clock tonight. So I thought I'd have a little bit more time with you. Turns out I don't. The game is at 8. So we're going to get a little bit of a short pregame here, but still plenty of time to go over some things that I saw this week. Maybe some things that you guys saw. I will have some times if you guys have Q&A, if you guys have questions on anything that you saw in week 1, maybe you have questions for me on my team or my thoughts about any other team. If you do have questions, feel free to throw those in the chat. I will monitor this throughout the show here tonight, and I'll get to your questions as soon as I see them. Again, it's going to be a short one tonight, only going to be a half an hour, because I will get you out of here just in time so that you can watch the final game of week 1, the primetime battle between the Memphis Steamers and the DC Marshals. Certainly a battle that could, at the end of the season, have huge implications for the NRC. Obviously a divisional battle, but even more than that, this isn't just a divisional matchup between the Steamers and the Marshals. This is potentially a game that we could look back on and say, well, that team who won in week 1 got home field. They got the higher seed. They got into the playoffs. The other team didn't, right? There is a lot. And I know that we don't like to look too far into the future. We are a very here and now generation, but it's very possible that we might be looking back at tonight's game between the Marshals and the Steamers as the game that decided blank. The division, first round bye, making the playoffs versus not making the playoffs, right? Like there is a lot at stake. Even though it's week 1, it's not a must-win game, but just because it's not a must-win game does not mean that there's not a lot at stake. Right? Like if you look at, like, let's go ahead and I can pull up I'll pull up my screen here, and like you can look, it's no secret that when you look at the NRC, you look at how the Marshals finished last season, right? I believe after Hodge took over, they finished the season 8-1 or 8-2, I believe, something like that. So if you look at how they finished the year and you look at the Steamers just historically and in general, these are two teams in the NRC that should be competing not for more than just a playoff spot, right? Like I think if either one of these teams did not make the playoffs, no matter who you ask, if you ask Hodge or if you ask Jones, they will tell you that it was a big disappointment, a huge disappointment, right? Both of these teams are expecting to make the playoffs, and both of these teams, to a man, are expecting more than that. You can ask them yourself, right? And so if we take a look at the NRC, and more importantly, let's just look at the NRC East, where you have the Monarchs, the Marshals, the Shamrocks, and the Steamers. Now listen, yes, the Monarchs, they're off to a good start, 1-0. But the Marshals and the Steamers are the two teams that you look at in this division and think one of those two teams are going to win it. No disrespect to the Monarchs. All good luck throughout the season. All the praise to Coach Rodney for for being there in his rookie year with the Monarchs. Good luck. I hope the season goes well. But the Marshals and the Steamers are the two teams in this division that people are looking at. And the winner of tonight's game is going to have some bragging rights for sure, but they're going to have a leg up. Because if a team is able to sweep, if the Steamers are able to sweep the Marshals or vice versa, it's going to be, very telling for what the playoff situation might look like. And I would go so far as to say it's going to be very difficult, even if one of these teams sweeps the other one. It's going to be difficult to maybe not win the division. I think you can still win the division clearly, but be elevated into like the number one seed and get that first round bye. Right? Like nobody wants to get swept by anybody in your division. You certainly don't want to get swept by a team that you are, basically on paper, you are considered equals. Right? If you ask anybody in the Steamers locker room, they'll tell you they think they're the better team. If you ask anybody in the Marshals locker room, they'll tell you they think they're the better team. If you ask everybody in the community who is the better team, you're probably going to get close to a 50-50 split if you remove the guys from their respective locker rooms. That's what these two teams are. And so I don't think there's looking back at some of the matchups that we had this week, I don't know if there's a better matchup that you could have to end week one, right? Like I have a hard time with figuring out what I like better. What do you guys like better? I guess that's a question for you guys. What do you like better? Do you like the best game of the week being the first game, or do you like the best game of the week being the last game? For me, I kind of like it being the first game. I like having must-see TV on the first game, but I completely get the argument if you want to have it last, because there's so much excitement for the new week that it almost doesn't matter who you have on week at the beginning, because you're so excited. And by the time you get to the end of the week, a lot of times that excitement has kind of worn off a little bit. So if you have an absolute banger and you have the best game at the end of the week, then that makes a lot of sense too. I guess selfishly, I kind of just like having both. And so the good thing is that's kind of what we get, right? On a week in and week out basis, we're going to get, at least in the eyes of many, we're going to get the two best games of the week, one of them on Monday and one of them on Friday, right? So tonight we've got the Marshals and the Steamers. That game will kick off in about 20 minutes. But until then, let's talk a little bit about week one, right? Like, so I'm going to drop this down. Let's talk a little bit about week one and some of the things that we saw. I did see a question in the chat here. What I get, most shocking performance of you? You mean for me? Like what do I, if you're asking me what the most shocking performance was from my game, which I don't think that's what you're asking. I think you're asking what is in my opinion, what's the most shocking performance from week one in general? I think I was going to ask this question. I had a topic here that I was going to discuss, and then I took it off the agenda. But since you asked, I will just tell you, because I think that might be where I'm leading. I did not anticipate the offensive outburst that we saw from the Chicago Cougars at all. And so I told you there was a topic that I had here that I had to take out. The topic was, are the Chicago Cougars going to go worst to first? Right? Like, are the Chicago Cougars I guess for recency argument, right? Are the Chicago Cougars somebody that we could see doing what the NFL New England Patriots just did? Like, is that feasible? They were a terrible team last year, and they made it all the way to the Super Bowl this year. Now, I did not expect that offensive outburst. I honestly did not feel like Dylan Lewis was the best quarterback in this class. I thought he was like 1B, but I thought that Jaden Young was, if I were picking, at 9, I think is when Dylan Lewis went. I would have been taking Jaden Young ahead of Dylan Lewis. That's just me. But the offensive outburst that the Chicago Cougars put out there was no joke. Right? Like, let's go, since we're talking about it, let's go and look at that. Let's look at the Cougars here. I mean, anytime, I don't care who you are, even if you're the best team in the league, if you put up 40 points, you are going to win 99% of your games. And obviously the Cougars are not going to put up 40 points a game. But to have a 40 burger in week 1 with a rookie quarterback, and listen, having a rookie quarterback is challenging. If you don't believe me, you all sat here all offseason and talked about the Mexico City Diablos, right? And so this was a topic that I was going to bring up, but was the offseason hype for Mexico City a little bit premature? Because we knew that they were going to be starting a rookie quarterback. And they are. But to see the performance that you saw from the Cougars and Dylan Lewis versus what you saw from the Diablos and Colorado Rivers, there's challenges to be had for anybody that's starting a rookie quarterback. I know, I did it 3 years ago. And we were still able to win the division, but it was very challenging. Go ask anybody in the San Antonio Dreadnoughts locker room, and they will tell you there were 2 games that they should have won, we should have lost. We won either in overtime with a game-winning field goal or at the buzzer in regulation with a game-winning field goal. One of those games was because we caught a Hail Mary down to like the 5-yard line with 30 seconds left. Had we lost one of those games, we would not have won the division, and we may have even missed the playoffs. So having a rookie quarterback is challenging. And so if I'm Rob, if I'm Coach Roby right now, I cannot be happier. Just the overall performance and what the team looked like. So let's go. The passing yards I'm not too concerned with. Because listen, you're winning the game as long as you're not putting yourself in significant harm's way. And yes, I understand that you can give a lot of the credit to this victory to the defense because the Cincinnati Hogs could not hold on to the ball. I understand that. But the fact that we did not get, we got one interception from Dylan Lewis. That's enough when you have a defense that puts up those kind of numbers. And shout out to Wyatt Harris for getting his first sack in the RFL. Let's not forget that the Cincinnati Hogs went all the way to the ARC championship game last year. And I understand that maybe it was a fluke. But you asked me what my biggest shock was. I guess it's twofold. One, I did not expect a 40-point performance. And granted, yes, the defense gets a lot of credit for that. But I did not expect a 40-point performance from the Chicago Cougars starting a rookie quarterback And then on the flip side, get the opposite end of the spectrum with a 7-point performance from the Mexico City Diablos starting a rookie quarterback. So that's probably my biggest, the thing that I'm most surprised about. And I guess if I wasn't talking about any particular team, what I would be looking at is a lot of teams not scoring, period. Right? Like you look at that Bulls Diablos game, final score of that game was 9-7. Right? Like the Diablos almost won that game. Final score was 9-7. You look at, there's another game, there were no touchdowns even scored the entire game. You look at that Monarchs versus the Bisons game, and I said earlier, shout out to Rodney Goins for getting his first win as a head coach in the RFL, but his team didn't score a touchdown. He got his first victory as a head coach and general manager in the RFL without even scoring a touchdown. Final score of that game, 15-9. 8 field goals. Right? Like, that can't happen. Right? Like, a win is a win and you'll take it. But you can't. There's nobody walking into the locker room feeling great about a 15-9 game. Not even the winning team. Maybe if you're the kicker and you're on a contract year because you might get paid. There's just nobody that feels good about a 15-9 game. Again, the Bulls and Diablos 9-7. The Red Dragons, a team that we think could be very good. I'm going to see them twice in the ARC West. They only scored 7 points against the Pioneers. The Sentinels, 15 points. That ain't bad. We held the Barons to only 14. Final score of that game, our game, 24-14. And I have to say, special shout out to Steve Washington, 154 yards on the ground, 197 all-purpose yards, 3 touchdowns on the day. Just an all-around phenomenal performance from the second-year running back out of Louisville. But I do worry about some of these teams that, we kind of had higher hopes for, and namely the Diablos only scoring 7 points. Hopefully they'll right the ship, right? Because they went out and they made a lot of moves. Like this is a win now or bust. Like they basically mortgaged the future for an opportunity to win right now. Now, I love the mindset. I love the attitude of going for it. My only concern is the mindset of going all in is hindered by the fact that you have a rookie quarterback that you're going all in with, right? Like ideally in a situation where you're going all in and you're getting as much high caliber veteran talent that you can, you're doing it. And one of those players is at the quarterback position. Now the Diablos don't have that. And so it's very easy to say 9-7, who cares? It's week 1. They'll right the ship. They're way too talented for this to be the norm. I get it. And I agree with you. And I'm in that camp. However, what if it's not? What if the rookie quarterback struggles continue for Colorado Rivers? What if we are still having this conversation 4 weeks from now or 5 weeks from now? Because while 4 or 5 weeks is not a lot, you can have a bad stretch of 4 or 5 weeks and still make the playoffs. But when you are a team that, it is what it is, like mortgage the future, like went all in on players that, not going to be able to resign or are going to be free agents or are aging and going to regress, right? Like there's a handful of those guys on this roster because they're trying to win now. And you're never going to fault anybody for doing that. And nobody was more aggressive in the offseason at sticking to that philosophy than Forbes. And he got all the credit in the world and all the accolade and all the, the offseason, preseason hype that comes with it. And then in week one, you go out there and you look a little bit off. And so I think that everything will be fine. I think that the Diablos are way too talented for this to be the norm. And even if this is the norm for the first 2 or 3 weeks, I think that things will be drastically different and dramatically different when we get to the end of the season. My only concern is that when we get to the end of the season, what does their record look like because of whatever potential struggles they might have in the beginning? Right. So if we look at the division, it's arguably one of the toughest divisions. You have the Desperados, the Tigers, and the Thunderbirds. In most RFL divisions, you can look at the division and you can say without hesitation that there is at least one team that has no shot, no chance at winning the division, no chance at making the playoffs. In almost every division, you have somebody that you can say that about. Well, the Diablos are in that one division where you can't really say that. And so the Desperados already started 1-0. The Tigers already started 1-0. The Thunderbirds, very talented team. If the Diablos falter out of the gates, and it's because of a rookie quarterback performance, and they find themselves 1-3 or 2-3 or 1-4, are they going to be able to overcome that slow start in this division? Because then you have to have a completely different conversation about the philosophy of going all in if you get to week 9 and you're 3-5. Because if you're 3-5 heading into week 9 and you've got a roster full of guys that are older, on a walk year, are you going to hold on to those guys? Because at the end of the year, they're going to regress if they're still under contract, or you're going to get nothing. And so that's my biggest shock. That's my biggest shock of this week. I would also say, what was the other game? Jacob McCall. The Salt Lake City Elks with Jacob McCall under center seem like they might be a team. If you're asking me for a team that we could be looking at 3 months from now saying, where the hell did they come from? I never in a million years thought that team would be leading the division, or that team would be in the playoff pick. That team would have the second best record in their conference. The Salt Lake City Elks, Jacob McCall looked good. He certainly looked better than we've seen. And dare I say, is this the year that we see Jacob McCall break out? Right? Like, he's kind of washed himself away from the team that drafted him, trading him away. He's washed himself away from the team that he got traded to, wanting absolutely nothing to do with him. And now he finds himself in Salt Lake City. Is this the year that Jacob McCall breaks out? He's been here enough, right? And then you almost wonder, if this is the year that he breaks out, what's he going to cost? right? Because I believe he's a free agent at the end of the year. So then you're wondering, well, boy, you picked a really bad time to break out. But if you break out, I don't think you have any issue with signing a guy who has that level of performance. If that's the level of performance that you're getting, I think you're okay with it. And if we go and take a peek real quick, final score of that game was 31-24. I believe both quarterbacks threw for 250, almost 300 yards. What did we get here? And don't forget, San Jose won the Relo Bowl last year. And they did not. So San Jose looked great on defense last year. This year, they did not look that good. This game, they did not look that good. It looks like maybe I'm being a little bit too slow here, so I'm not going to get it. But yeah, I would say be on the lookout for Jacob McCall. Like I know he's gotten a bad rep, and there's been a lot said of him. I think the trade to the Elks is going to be the best thing that happened for him. Yeah, you can see it right there. Passing yards, 264 passing yards for the Elks. And that 264 number subtracts any yards that he lost from a sack. Right. So, again, great day, 3 touchdowns. I did not anticipate this from 1, Jacob McCall, and 2, from the San Jose Condors defense. Those things I did not expect. So what are we going to expect tonight? That's what I did not expect. I did not expect the Diablos to score 7 points. I did not expect the Cougars to score 40. I did not expect to have a team win because they scored 5 field goals, and then the team that they beat had 3 field goals. I didn't think that we were going to get an 8 field goal game where there was no other points scored. And so what else are we going to see in week 1 that we did not expect? What are the Memphis Steamers going to do as they get ready to take the field right now? What are the DC Marshals going to do as they prepare to make a run at a division title? You guys are going to get to see it in real time, just like I am. That game is going to kick off in probably less than 3 minutes. We are just now hitting 8 o'clock on the dial. So probably 2 minutes, typically, maybe even less. So go on over, check out that game. Appreciate you guys stopping by and checking in. Miners Live back for season 10 of the RFL season. So I'm not sure exactly what day of the week I will be trying to go regularly. I might try to do Mondays. It's a little bit tough because we have games almost every day during the week. So I try to do them without obviously interfering with the games, but sometimes things get in the way. So go check out the Steamers and the Marshals. That will conclude week 1. We'll have the RFL podcast on Saturday, and then week 2 will kick off on Monday. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. If you have not already, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and go enjoy the Marshals and the Steamers. Good luck to Coach Hodge, and good luck to Justin Jones making his return after a brief hiatus. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.